Spconvo, Spconvo, baby. Let's do it. Yeah, yeah. Back on the scene. Want to get into some things tonight, making reference to choices. You know, there's always somebody judging somebody for the decisions or choices the next person made. But there's only one person that could judge us. You know, one person that can judge us. The man said, "Only God can judge me. Only God could judge any one of us. Any human looking to ridicule another human being based off their decision for whatever situation that happened in their life, just your opinion. And you know the motto to that. Recently, I was watching the Lindsay Clancy trial, the KeefeD trial, thinking about Karmelo Anthony, even thinking about Nolan Wells. Four individuals that had a choice to make and made choices. But yet, out of those four, out of those four individuals, one unfortunately was killed, Nolan Wells, for the choice he made to go on the boat with his so-called friends. Nancy Clancy, sorry, Lindsay Clancy, KeefeD, and Karmelo Anthony all stand trial. Carmelo stood trial. He got sentenced. Got Lindsay and KeefeD is up next. Why is there a court? Why are there lawyers? Why are there jurors? Why are there other human beings out there making a decision on somebody else's life choice? Why is that even such a thing? We have to answer to our Creator. So why be punished twice? Why be punished on earth and then in the afterlife also go through judgment? Who are we? I'm going to take it back to the beginning. When you're a little child and you're in school and you're in the classroom and the teacher have you the blackboard, if I'm going too deep, look at the lesson plan of the day. And you have some students that pay attention to the lesson plan, and some students just get distracted and they just fizzle out. The teacher will separate the students by who pay attention to him or her versus the ones who don't. Later on, that becomes a thing. kids are smart. So the group of kids that pay attention to the teacher start to judge the other kids that don't pay attention. So you get a little school at the end of the week, you get a test you have to take. Right? Most kids that paid attention to the teacher should pass the test. The ones that didn't pay attention, evidently they should obviously fail. But you have very few kids that don't pay attention to class and still end up passing the test. Because there's a thing called homework. Some kids are more comfortable taking in the information, bringing it back home, and doing homework when they're in their own comfort zone. Some kids excel in comfort. But before that, you have kids that's judging, as well as teachers that's judging kids that's not paying attention to the lesson plan, making them feel outed. That's how way back judgment starts. Being judgmental starts from elementary school. Being judgmental is a learned behavior. It's like a competition thing. You're a teenager, a young man coming up, you start liking girls. Girls start looking at you about what you can have, what you should have, or what you don't have, and they judge you based off are you beneficial for them. Mind you, most girls don't have shit neither. Less than what a man's able to afford at age 14, 15, 16. So you have a young man that's looking to come up in life to impress a girl. But he got that hunger, he got that drive, because he already being judged. He feel a certain way by being judged by that girl and watching another guy have just a little bit more than him. And he says, I gotta do the same thing. I'm gonna make this choice to do the same thing that this other guy is doing. So I can get this girl approval. And when that boy make that move, the other guys that's making those moves before him, when he gets in trouble, he gets locked up, he have nobody to blame but himself. Even yet, he's still getting judged by that same girl that he wanted to live for. When she says to him, what you do that for? You stupid. I don't want you to do that for me. Now, Lindsay Clancy murdered three of her children. She's in court right now to this day. And she being judged by a group of people who don't know her. Lawyers and judges included. Nobody knows her. She being judged by the choice she made to harm her kids. But who are those people in the court to judge her? Do they have her situation? Are they in her circumstances? What may bother her may not bother them. But of course, they could judge her because it's not them that's on trial. They could point the finger, they could disrespect, they could have no regard, they could have their opinion, but none of that means shit. Because she the one that gotta hold her fate. She the one that gotta decide if she ready to do the jail time for killing her kids, and she gotta live with that decision for the rest of her life. So what is for anybody to be judging her for if she gotta wear that burden for the rest of her life? That's for her to deal with. Just like KeefeD. KeefeD allegedly killed one of the greatest rappers of all time, TupacShakur. KeefeD is being judged by a group of his peers. KeefeD being judged by society. He's being judged by fellow rival gang members. But who are people to judge KeefeD? His nephew got hurt by Tupac and Tupac's crew. So what he's supposed to do? Just because Tupac is a rapper, let somebody put a hand on his family and no repercussion? No repercussion? Nah. That's why he being judged by the same very people that wouldn't have done nothing but let somebody harm their family members. Because a lot of people out there choose to live a scared, selfish life. Karmelo Anthony sentenced to 30 years in jail, 35 years in jail for killing Austin, right? But he had a choice, and the choice he made was to protect himself after being harmed by a big, big guy. Now it comes out later on, Austin had a lot of videos out there stating how he don't like black people or he don't like certain individuals. So Carmelo was being harmed and harassed and hazed by these kids. He was set up, and yet he still has to face 35 years in prison for killing a known, well, it's known now, kid that didn't like people of color. Hmm. I don't think people have the right to judge other people. Speaking about what take place in another person's life for conversation, that's one thing. But to feel you are the judge and juror of another person's life over the choice they made, nah. I think that should be eliminated from societies. Let those individuals live with whatever they have to live with. Guilt, regret, whatever it is, let them deal with that internally. Let them deal with that internally. Because that would eat a person up more than any jail sentence you give. You could give a person any punishment you could think of. I think that the the bare fact of living with guilt is all a person need. That conscience, what God gave us internally, is all a person need to understand they did right from wrong and wrong from right. I had a choice to make. I had to sell my kids out or keep my kids. Choose this career paying job or keep my children. So me being the man that I am, I had to. I had to leave my children behind, man. I had to leave them behind and go for that career job. because I want to live good. You heard 50 Cent said, I want to live good indeed, I sold. So I left my children in the care of other people and I took off for that job. That job paid me handsomely and I don't have no regrets. I don't have no regrets at all. That money. So when I send them money to wherever they at, they accept it. They understand. If I ain't go get that money, they won't be okay in life. I don't think nobody should have an opinion that I choose a good paying job and money over my kids. I don't think nobody should have that. Nobody should be questioning why I did that. They should be saying, mmm, maybe he had a difficult situation to make him choose a job over his kids. Maybe there was parameters set where he couldn't get his kids. Maybe the best option was for him to get his job, stack his money, and make sure his kids is taken care of that way. Yeah, because this thing in life, this thing called life, it's uncanny. No matter what choice you make, you don't know. Nobody have life figured out. Nobody. Something told me to speak on the choices I had to make in life. And I said, how am I going to break this to the podcast? How am I going to bring it? How am I going to let all the Spconvo listeners know that I chose a high paying job over my children? You know? I just couldn't take them in. I just had that money on my mind. And I said, yo, let me be the man and get that money, stack that money, and go check on my kids that way. I think that'd be better. 'Cause I can't see a man being a single father. I just can't see it. I can't see the man being a single father. Nah. A man's supposed to be out there in the world working, making that money. And there's some type of uh, counseling services or surrogate moms. There's somebody out there to take care of those kids. Foster kid services. The kids may not be raised perfect, but they're gonna be taken care of. And me having my income, I did just that. I make sure my kids is taken care of. Because I'd rather see myself working and doing something productive than to be raising my kids by myself, going through the changes, being upset that I can't I can't live good because the kids will be holding me back. Yeah, that's the choice I made. Just like KeefeD made his choice, Lindsay Clancy made her choice, Karmelo Anthony made his choice, Nolan Wells made his choice, and so many other people throughout the world and all over the world is making a choice at this very moment. Decisions that may affect them and could affect them for the rest of their life, or just everyday living, trying to figure it out. But I don't think nobody should be commenting on why I didn't get my kids and why I focus on a high paying job. Because without money, what do you have? Without money, what do you have? Especially living in the United States of America, if you don't have no moolah, you can't do nothing. You need cheddar to make everything better. Currency, legal tender, bread and butter, that cream is needed. It's needed. You know? Them square notes, it's needed. Dead presidents, it's needed. And whatever type of name you could come up to represent money is needed. So only God could judge me for me choosing money over kids. Because I ain't listening to no other human being. They telling me I shoulda, I would have been a better man if I did. A real woman respects a man that does. Society respects a man that did. I don't want to hear none of that. Because honestly, I'm going to be like this. All that stuff wash off in the shower. So we all got choices to make. Make yours. Live with it. Stand on it. And act like you know. And don't be claiming that nothing is mental. I'm out. SP Convo. SSSP Convo.